I'm Chris Foster. After saying he had total authority over when and where coronavirus restrictions would end, President Trump says now he's not going to put any pressure on state governors making their own decisions. Fox's Gernal Scott.
President Trump says his plan right now is close to complete, and the conversation with governors is coming.
Probably on Thursday, a meeting by teleconference, and a lot of things will be discussed, and some of the details will be discussed.
He also lashed out at the World Health Organization for mismanaging the pandemic.
And he's putting funding for the WHO on hold pending a review. Millions of Americans can expect the coronavirus relief payments passed by Congress in their bank accounts today. People getting paper checks later will see President Trump's name in the memo line, the first time an Internal Revenue Service payment has ever had a president's name printed on it. America's listening to Fox News.
One century ago, the world experienced its deadliest pandemic, when the Spanish flu of 1918 infected nations around the world, killing millions. In the decades since, other influenzas have swept the world, taking the lives of millions more. But none have been quite like this.
The coronavirus now a global pandemic.
Broadway will be shut down. The NBA is suspending gameplay.
Wall Street briefly suspending trading today.
It has impacted Hollywood. It has impacted Capitol Hill. This is like no other.
Now, go inside the lives of people living in quarantine.
You haven't seen each other in 10 days.
And learn how you can stay safe from the virus.
We still have a long way to go. There will be many more cases, but we'll take care of that.
Fox Nation brings you 3 new specials, diving into the world of pandemics. Past, present, and future. Don't miss 5 Flus, Pandemics and Epidemics 101, and Quarantined. Available now, only on Fox Nation.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
For the best car wash at the best price, then go to the new Nips Car Wash, located at 459 Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jessup. Nips Car Wash features state-of-the-art IQ automatic car wash system. Every car or truck that enters the automatic IQ wash system is scanned to capture its unique vehicle profile to give you a great car wash every time. Nips Car Wash also features 2 self-service bays where you can choose from a variety of accessories such as foam brush, tire brush, bug off, wax, clear coat, and spot-free rinse with powerful blowers located in each bay to top off your car wash experience at an affordable price. For the best quality car wash around, go to the new Nips Car Wash located down from McDonald's on the left on Highway 301 South in Jessup. With a state-of-the-art IQ automatic wash system on Highway 301 South, down from McDonald's in Jessup.
8:05 here at the Big Dog WIFO-FM, and it is a Wednesday with Werkheiser. Thanks to the representative for calling in this morning.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Got Bill on the phone. Bill, how you doing today?
Doing good. How about y'all?
Hanging in there. Appreciate you calling in on this Wednesday with Werkheiser. What's on your mind today? I'll just let you start. You got anything you want to discuss?
Well, I am actually headed down to Odom. Hope the weather holds off a little bit. I was going to do a little tour with Mayor Weaver there in Scriven, but go see some of the damage in Odom. Never a good time for something like that to happen, but golly, that's just tough. That's heart really goes out to them.
Yeah, the fortunate thing, no one was killed. Looking across the state in South Carolina, a lot of deaths with tornadoes there. It's pretty much hit all across the state of Georgia and into South Carolina. But again, there is a lot of damage. A lot of people lost their homes, so you'll see it firsthand today. Again, Buddy Carter was there yesterday. The mayor's great community-wide effort, though. People really came to the rescue and helped out, and the Red Cross is there helping out a lot of people as well. It's amazing what they do. Talked to those people yesterday. They get people in, they find them shelter, they find them, eyeglasses, medication. It's amazing what all they do. I didn't really, you think of American Red Cross, all they do is, take blood, but they show up in these emergencies, and the services they provide is just unbelievable. I was just amazed at what all they can do.
It does, and I knew a little bit of that only because I've got a friend who actually was a lobbyist at the Capitol, and when he retired, that's what he and his wife, they live in their RV, and they basically go from one Red Cross emergency to another. I mean, that's their passion, and it's something else because, just like you said, eyeglasses,
medication, whatever they lost,
you wouldn't think about, right? Because most of us just see a big house and you say, well, they've lost their house, which is terrible, but it's all those little things that we do all day long that we depend on. So yeah, it's great that we have people who are willing to help. And speaking of it, you mentioned too the community, and that's what I mean. I've lived in Atlanta and I've lived down here, and yes, people are going to come to your rescue in Atlanta, but there is a sense of community down here that's just unmatched.
One story that disturbed me today, I was looking at some stories on AP, AGC, things like that. It says faulty data obscures virus impact on the state of Georgia. And they've got this says the data is simply not as accurate as it needs to be. And she says it's hard to say what the trends are in the state of Georgia. Again, they listed several care facilities where the reporting is not accurate. Again, one facility says 74 residents and 20 staff members have tested positive, 4 have died, and the state says none have died. Another facility in Atlanta states they've had 7 people die. The state says none have died. So, your thoughts on that? How frustrating is it that the data is not even accurate? We thought we were able to get the accurate data, but apparently it's faulty.
And that's what you make all the decisions on. And so, and Dr. Toomey with the Department of Public Health, she is a big data person. And what's interesting, go to the daily update. It's updated twice a day in Georgia, 12 noon and 7 at night. And what's been amazing to me is the data points that have been added. Initially, you had 2 rows of columns, number of cases in a county and deaths, and then they started adding gender, they've added age, and so that's what you've got to make your decisions on. And if somebody's, got symptoms that maybe haven't been tested, you can see missing those kind of data points. But a death, how do you miss something like that? How do you mess that up? I don't know.
The governor is quoted in this article saying there's no doubt that we need to continue to work on getting better data. It says the State Department of Public Health cannot identify the race of more than half of the Georgians who have tested positive for the virus, a key data point for understanding the effects of the minority communities. It says the data is important to us. It's also concerning as we continue to work on that. He says in some instances, flawed data has caused a drastic understatement of the virus severity. Officials on Tuesday released a report on long-term care facilities that was riddled with errors and omissions. Report documented outbreaks in 138 facilities, up from 80 last week, but it made no mention of several facilities. For instance, even though 2/3 of the resident staff had been tested positive for the virus. So, again, it's kind of frustrating when you can't even get the correct data information out to people. So that's why.
Yeah, and again, it's frustrating from a knowledge standpoint. That's one thing, but that's how you're making decisions. You're looking at where graphs are going up or down, whether, if you think about it, that's what we're depending on to see if we can open things back up again. So, yeah, I don't know who's at fault there, but like you said, it's certainly discouraging.
Well, it's frustrating for a lot of people because every time you turn on a TV or radio, you hear something different from somebody. Everybody's got a different opinion. Everybody's got a different theory. If you go by the Department of Public Health, last night they update to twice a day, 12 and 7. They've got Wayne County cases now positive up to 6 cases as of 7 p.m. last night. But they say that's going to continue to increase as more and more tests come back. Again, that's what I wanted to ask you about. I'm sure you checked with state people. The question a lot of people ask is, are enough people being tested? And if you want to get a test, where do you go to get one?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. because I was able to help a constituent yesterday of a pretty good-sized business here in Titanville County. So there is a collaborative effort between the state of Georgia, Georgia Tech, and CDS, and you can go to now you can go to the parking lot of Georgia Tech downtown, and you can get a saliva test, which is a lot more comfortable than the nose swab, and you can have your results in 13 minutes. And speaking of data, that's what has been throwing things off. And again, there's no excuse for missing a death, and that should be timely. But so many of these tests are taking 2 weeks. And again, if that's what you're basing your decisions on, and you've got literally thousands and thousands of people waiting 2 weeks on a test, to be 2 weeks behind the curve is just ridiculous. But anyway, those tests are now coming, the ones that were taking 2 weeks, and then it was 3 days, and now if we'll have same-day testing, I think regardless, you're going to see a giant, like a really big spike. That doesn't necessarily mean the tip of the spike that everybody's been looking for is happening. That could be that just a matter of the timing of the testing.
Well, I'm just curious, to ask you this question. When do you think the frustration level is just going to hit a peak? People have been cooped up in their homes now here in Wayne County since the beginning of March. They want us to go all the way to the end of April. And then some say it may extend to May. When do you think people are just going to say, nah, enough of this. I'm going back to doing what I got to do, get outside and go back to living. I mean, it's going to be a point where just people say enough's enough, right?
Right, and I think that is happening now. I'm getting a lot of calls, and for different reasons. Like I said, we're going to get tested, and that may be one of the most consistent calls I'm getting right now is at what point do we kill the economy or cause a business to go under? We need to get back to work. I don't know. I guess it's different for every person. I hope people will, keep following the governors and the national administration directives, because that's the only way we're going to get to the other side of it. But that's a fair point that, after 2 or 3 weeks, and especially in rural Georgia where the cases are so low, and you're thinking, well, nothing's really happened here, and I'll just, go back to work.
Well, like I said, it just seems that, people are being very diligent and doing what they've been asked to do. But again, I just see eventually there's going to be a point where people are going to say, enough. Just, classic example, we've got the social distancing in place. The tornado hits Monday in Odom, Georgia. Well, everybody came from far and wide to come help those people, and they didn't think one iota about social distancing. People were being pulled out of their houses with a tree on it, and they're crying and needed comfort. Well, guess what? People were hugging and making sure they were comforting people. So, after a while, human nature takes over. And I watch these reports, and they say, we're never going to shake hands again. We're never going to do this again. I just don't believe any of that. I just can't believe that these people are on TV with a platform making these statements. I don't understand it. To me, we got to get back to being Americans. The frustrating thing right now is to a lot of people, and this is being underemphasized. I don't see anybody reporting this, but if somebody who you care about dies, well, guess what? You can't even go to the funeral because they're only letting the family at the funerals. So, that is hurting a lot of people.
Yeah, and I mentioned that last week about Jack Hill. As sad as that situation has been for our state and our community, really breaks my heart for the family because of what you just said. as if that wasn't bad enough, and then to tell the family, well, you really can't have a funeral. So I don't know. I think there will be a mixture. You were asking about future changes. It's interesting that we're at the Capitol every year at the peak of flu season. And so already the last couple of years, you see a lot. We were already doing a lot of more fist bumping, but it wasn't just. So, yeah, I think we'll be more careful, but I don't think you'll ever stop, especially, like you said, you mentioned it during the tornado incident, hugging somebody to console somebody. Yeah, I hope that never goes away, but part of me thinks we will start acting a little different as far as being. It's strange watching people, grocery store, or if you go to the post office, how people opening doors with their foot or whatever. So that makes, I don't know, but I myself, I'm ready to get back to some normalcy.
Yeah, what about the budget? That's a question, since you're talking about that. And Jack Hill, about the budget that's got to be done by June 30th there, Bob.
Right. So still no question of when you're going back or if you have to go back. Somebody said you may be doing that online.
Yeah.
But when I talked to you last week, I think you said that the problem now is, since this pandemic crisis has hit, the budget that was approved or discussed is totally out the window.
But we've got to start over, because there is no way the number headed down. And we have no idea what those numbers are. But since our money, almost half our money comes from corporate income, no one knows how bad that damage is going to be. And again, you can't base everything on financials, but that's why we've got to get the economy up and going. But, the budget that we worked weeks and weeks on, that process has got to start over. And the interesting thing is, we kept being told, well, we got plenty of time. We just need to get it done by June 30th, which we're hoping, speaking of data points, we've kept being told that April 22nd, April 23rd, is supposed to be the peak, and a week after that, people were guessing, but it's only a guess, that's when we'd start opening everything back up. So that would give us time to do the budget, but you were exactly right. What the House has already passed is no longer on the table. That's going to be a tough process.
Yeah, another tough process, like you said, there's a lot of small businesses here in Wayne County that are currently not open due to this pandemic, and the question a lot of people ask, are these businesses going to be able to survive and come back? Because small towns like Wayne County, Jessup, Georgia, Odom, Georgia, Scriven, Georgia, they rely on small business owners. I mean, that's the backbone of the community, and it's hard to see these businesses close right now. People are trying to help them as much as they can, but the question is how many businesses will be able to bounce back. So the president keeps talking about you got to get the economy going. Eventually this has got to end. But that's the question everybody keeps asking. Like I said, I just think there's going to become a point where the patience of everybody's just going to get. And like I said, and some's already hit that point where, look, enough's enough. I got to get back to doing what I do. I can't be cooped up in my home 24/7. So I just think that's, I think people here in Wayne, Georgia, understand the governor says we got to go to the 30th, but I think if he turns around at the end of the 30th, says it's going to middle of June, I don't know what's going to happen then. I just think the frustration level is getting to a boiling point, and eventually it's going to break, is what I see. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, and that's the comments I've heard the most from small business owners, is that because they've got a date in mind, since the governor has extended it to April 30th, that date is so locked in their mind that they feel like that they'll hang in till there. But if this extended, I don't know mentally, it's because like when you plan an event, you count down toward that date, and when that date gets here, and generally that event happens. whether it's a, grand opening, funeral, wedding, and then to get to that date and it not happen, that really, if you think about it, very rarely does that happen in life. When that big of an event, that far out, 30 days out. And speaking of, these people who have spent big money on weddings, on trips, and
how about prom? All the girls that bought their prom dresses, those things are pretty expensive. And from understanding in Wayne County, most of the girls bought those prom dresses, but apparently there's not going to be any prom this year. So that money's out the window as well. So
I don't know. I hope they can do something later on. I don't know. And the Deltas and the big corporations, they'll make it back. But what people don't realize, small business employ 50% of our workforce, and they just don't have the reserves to be shut down for a solid month. Some do, but so many, we talk about a lot of individuals living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of small businesses are not that much different. And, they might not have but 3 or 4 employees or 10 or 12, but cumulatively, they are the backbone of our community. And if you think about it, that's who we go to when a school or nonprofit or someone needs to raise money. That's who they continue to go to, is all the businesses in our town. So it's such a trickle-down effect, and then, of course, the employees, if they do end up closing down, you've done something to the business owner, all those employees, that's probably my biggest fear of this whole thing is what this is going to do to the business community.
To me, throughout this whole thing, the most laughable thing, and I keep asking people from Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan and other people, is what's essential and what's not essential. I had a story yesterday that the WWE in Florida is essential because it's helping their economy. Well, I would think Disney World helps their economy too, but they've got that shut down. So, I don't know who makes these decisions. Jonathan and I just brag all the time we've got an essential job because apparently we're still working, but these people that got shut down, I got told, the Lieutenant Governor, if you're a barbershop owner here in Jessup, Georgia, and that's your livelihood, well, guess what's essential to you? The same with hairstylists and any other small business you're talking about. Who's to say that your business isn't essential when it's your livelihood? I mean, somebody's made that decision, but nobody can tell me who made that decision. They told me there's a list. I don't know who made the list, but it just seems laughable to me what's essential, what's not essential. Who makes that decision, especially if you're a business owner? I mean, I would think that really business is essential to you. I look at my dad down there in Florida. He's 88 years old. He needs a haircut. He can't cut his own hair. But he can't go get a haircut right now because all those haircut places are shut down. So to me, it's essential for an 88-year-old man to be able to get a haircut, but he can't get one. So it's just.
And what's odd? Yeah, every state comes up with their own list. Yeah, who gets lobby for that list? So I've got a real close college friend. We're roommates, and we talk every week of the year. And he owns a lawn servicing business. So he goes out. We don't have a lot in this area, but where they chemical spray a lawn, where you drive through a neighborhood and it looks like the Masters. So that's what he does. He sprays lawns. He's got a pretty good sized business. Every state, that's an essential business. So he's working every day. And it's like you said, some of the ones you named, how did some make the cut and some didn't? So no matter what state you're in, if you service lawns, that's an essential business. So explain that.
Like I said, that's the thing. There's so many mixed messages. Locally they shut down the people in Tybee, the people on the island, shut down the beaches. Said that for health reasons the beaches have to be closed. Governor turns around 2 days later, says opens up the beaches. So it just seems like it's frustrating. Everybody's doing their own thing, own set of guidelines, own rules. There's no consistency across the board. So to me, that's the other thing that's been frustrating of this whole thing. It's been you just get it every time you turn around here for a different person. They've got a different set of guidelines, different set of rules. do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? There's debate on that. I mean, there's no consistency anywhere. It's just frustrating when you watch this and you can't really get a feel what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, and especially, the way you open the show asking about the frustration of data, if you're trying to make decisions based on data and you can't even, get proper data. And that, I guess part of it is, like, we keep asking questions. How long can you be contagious? How long can this? And, you can read 3 or 4 newspaper articles from reputable sources, and they're all quoting doctors, and you'll get 4 different opinions. And part of it is, this is a new virus, so we don't know what we don't know. But so it was going to be frustrating regardless. But then some of these other things that you should have a handle on or should know, you're right. You're being told one thing one day and one thing the next. Believe me, I understand, and we're hearing it.
Well, the other frustrating thing, we talked about it constantly on the show, all the finger pointing, all the, none of that's helpful. I mean, the blame game just doesn't help anybody. And I said the only 2 questions people want to know is when we get back to normal living and when this virus is out here, when there's going to be a vaccine. I mean, those are the questions people want answers to, but there doesn't seem to be any answers to those simple questions because that's what the daily person wants to know. When can I get back to some type of normal routine? When do I have to stop being shut in my house? And, like I said, right now it's to the 30th of the month. Hopefully by then restrictions will be lifted, but it's a wait-and-see game. But, I mean, it just seems like it's a frustrating game right now. You got to do what you got to do. Safety is the utmost importance. Again, this is a deadly virus. It does spread quickly. We've seen that in Albany. We've seen that in Pierce County. I mean, one social event can cause a lot of damage, a lot of death. So, we say it all the time, hats off to Wayne Countyans. From what I see, most Wayne Countyans are doing exactly what they've been asked to do, and hopefully we can ride it out to the end of the month. But hopefully by the end of the month, we'll see some restrictions lifted and some type of normalcy, returns. But I think if it continues much longer, the frustration is just going to continue to build, and people are just going to say enough's enough.
Good. And especially when, I know as a business owner for over 30 years, you eat, sleep, and drink, live it. That's all you think about. Maybe when things are going good, it's a tough thing to do. Much less something like this. So
the best joke I heard through this whole thing, somebody said they knew a guy who'd been single his whole life. He said he's going to have to get married just so he has somebody to talk to.
Well,
there's nobody to talk to. He said he's tired of watching TV. I thought that was the best thing I've heard through this whole thing.
And me living 3 months in Atlanta and her being a travel nurse, there's many days we see each other in passing. We keep telling everybody this is the longest we've been at the house together in many years. But I can tell you this, we have organized every single room, and we're pretty organized neat freaks anyway, but you should see our living room. She's got 6,000 pictures spread out. She's categorizing every child every year. So
well, I'm gonna be like Dabo Sweeney. I'm gonna have faith, and hopefully all this works out, and we have a college football season, and people are back in stadiums watching college football. It's amazing. We had that story as well. Dabo Sweeney comes out and makes a statement. He believes there's going to be a college football season. They asked him why. He said because he has faith. He just believes in his faith. He's anytime somebody says they've got faith and they're believing in their faith and hoping it's all going to work out, they get crucified for it. I just don't understand all that, but I'm with Dabo. I'm going to believe it's all going to work out. College football is going to return. They're going to get back to some type of normalcy. They'll find a vaccine, and all this will be, just in a rearview mirror, hopefully.
So I've got another college friend who owns a sporting goods store in Dublin, and he's a statewide Nike dealer. He's got salespeople in every corner of the state. I mean, it is big business. He's got 20-something employees. he says if they cancel football season, he's done as a business, period. And they've been in business for, he's second generation, 40-something years.
Well, I know one thing. They don't have college football season. That's going to be a big hit to a lot of colleges across this country, that's for sure, because that's a major source of income. I mean, just look what Georgia brings in on a Saturday. So,
yeah.
We've already seen so many hits. Like I said, the NCAA basketball tournament was a major hit. The Masters in Augusta was a major hit for that city. Tybee Island this week would have been the Heritage Classic. That's a big hit. I mean, like I said, the economic toll is just going to be astronomical. There's no way of telling how bad the knows when this is going to end.
Yeah, and that's my fear.
So hopefully the stimulus checks will continue. Again, we talked to Buddy Carter yesterday. He says it's frustrating they're trying to get a second wave of those checks, but of course they're up there. So, that's what's frustrating too. We got all this going on. People are dying, and you turn on TV and you got two parties that can't come together to help Americans across the United States. They just want to bicker back and forth on getting their pet projects approved in the stimulus bills. That's about as much most frustrating thing I've seen. So I'm sure those people will be taken care of when the people go to the ballot box and take care of that. So that's the only way you can get back to those people. But that's the frustrating thing, to watch that.
Absolutely.
Bill, we appreciate being here. Like I said, enjoy your tour in Odom. Like I said, you'll see the devastation over there. Like I said, it was a sad story, but again, it's a sad story all across the state. It's amazing this. They said the path of those things into the sea, when you get up in the helicopter and see the path that thing took, how it just, it hits a certain, it'll hit one home, and then the next home right next to it is not even touched. I mean, it's just crazy how those things work. But it was a scary thing Monday morning. We talked about how blessed we were that we didn't have school in session. You can just imagine what would have happened if that storm would have took place when school was, school buses, kids being dropped off with parents. Could have been a lot worse if school was in session. So thankfully, school was not in session as that storm came through.
Well, I'll end in this, and all I can say is we have a God who is still in control, that has never changed, and it will always be so. People who, as you were talking about, David, don't have faith. I don't see how they make it through stuff, but that's all I can say is we have a God who's still in control. He's not surprised by any of this. So we'll just have to keep going one day at a time and putting one foot in front of the other.
Okay, Bill. Again, we appreciate you being here on Wednesdays with Werkheiser. Always good to talk to you. Stay safe. And I said, have fun. Or not have fun, but again, enjoy your visit over there. There's some great people over there in the city of Odom. I'm sure they'll roll out the red carpet and show you.
So that we can do this.
Yep. Nice to have an essential job. Take care. Yep. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Again, those comments of Bill Werkheiser, Wednesday with the Werkheiser here at WIFO-FM. So appreciate that. But again, he'll get a chance. I had a chance yesterday to really get a tour of the damage over there in Odom. Yeah. It's kind of sad to see what all took place over there. But like I said, I was just amazed at the number of people over there helping out.
Yes.
And amazed at what the American Red Cross can do. Richard Johnson, the EMS director, and his staff are doing an excellent job, and all the law enforcement that helped out, and the road department, just everybody's just pitched in. So it's been a community-wide effort. So it's good to see that effort continue over there in the city of Odom, Georgia. So that's going to do it for a Wednesday.
Well, wait, before we do that, you had a text in right here at the end. Ed actually had texted and wanted to know what was going on in Pierce County with the COVID. I'm trying to get the page up here to look at the daily report. Do you have that? The
numbers just keep jumping in Pierce County. They had one of those social events at a church, and it spread, and it continued to get their latest numbers. It was at 7 p.m. last night.
I'm trying to pull this up here for Pierce.
Let's see, I've got it here. Doherty County, I mean, they've got over 71 people died over there. They got 1,297 cases. They're closing in on Fulton County. Fulton County still leads with 1,812 cases, but their deaths are lower than Doherty County's. So Pierce County at this time, let's see, we'll find here, Coffee's at 64 cases, 3 deaths. Ware County is at 64 cases, 4 deaths. Pierce County is at 47 cases, and 2 people have died in Pierce County. Glenn County, 40 cases, still no one has died in Glenn County. Effingham has 25 cases, 1 death. Camden, 22 cases, no deaths. Liberty, 21 cases, no deaths. Bullitt County, 20 cases, 1 death. Going down. Let's see. Wayne County's listed 6 positive time. Tattnall County has 5. Long County at 2. Jeff Davis at 1. Trying to find Appling County.
And looking at the ages here, most of these people that have passed are older, and a lot of times there are underlying causes as well.
Right. Where's Appling County at here on this list?
Let me scroll up.
There it is, 13. Appling County reporting 13 cases right now. So, and you can see they stated that our peak in the state of Georgia still sometime between the 21st and the 23rd is what I heard. Somebody said it was pushed back to the 26th. So, again, to continue to do the social distancing, continue to wash your hands, continue to avoid large groups, and that's all you can do. And we'll continue to keep you posted. Appreciate Bill Werkheiser calling in today on Wednesdays with Werkheiser.
Okay.
Should have the chairman of the commission and maybe the sheriff in later this week. So there's a lot's been going on countywide as well.
Yeah. All right, on that note, that is the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO at 8:39, brought to you this morning by Murphy Builder Supply and Nips.